Let me ask you something. When was the last time you posted something online and didn't check how many likes it got? When was the last time you did something you loved without thinking about how it looked to others? When was the last time you felt truly free from what people think? Most of us live inside a prison we can't see, a prison built from the approval of others. You seek validation because you think it will give you confidence, but it quietly makes you weaker, emptier, and more dependent on others for your sense of worth. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." You might think validation will heal your insecurities, but in reality, it only deepens them. 1. The root of validation seeking. Validation seeking is rooted in your biology and upbringing. Humans are social creatures. Thousands of years ago, acceptance by your tribe meant survival. Rejection meant death. Even now, your brain reacts to social rejection with the same intensity as physical pain. Your need for validation is ancient, but the world you live in now weaponizes it. Social media algorithms are designed to keep you hooked by feeding your need for validation. Every like, every view, every comment triggers a dopamine hit in your brain, reinforcing the cycle. Post, wait for likes, feel temporary high, crash, post again. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that freedom begins when you stop caring about things outside your control. The opinions of others are outside your control, yet you build your identity around them. 2. Why validation feels good but empties you. It feels good when people praise you. You feel seen, valued, even loved for a moment, but it's a fragile form of self-worth, tied to external conditions you can't control. Psychologist Dr. Carl Rogers explained that many people live under conditions of worth. You believe you're worthy only when others approve of you. This leads to people-pleasing behavior, fear of rejection, avoiding risks that could lead to disapproval, constant anxiety about what others think. You lose your authentic self in the pursuit of fitting in. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Validation is an endless craving that leaves you poorer the more you chase it. 3. The silent cost, losing yourself. Think about it. Every time you silence your opinion to fit in, every time you post for likes instead of sharing your truth, every time you hesitate to act because you fear what people will say, you give away a piece of yourself. Slowly, you lose your identity under layers of other people's expectations. You might succeed in pleasing everyone around you, but you will wake up one day realizing you don't know who you truly are. The psychologist Dr. Nathaniel Branden called this self-alienation. You become a stranger to yourself, living for applause instead of your soul's desires. 4. Modern society feeds the trap. We live in a world of constant comparison. Instagram stories, highlight reels, curated images of perfection. You measure your worth against filtered versions of others' lives, feeling inadequate and craving external validation to keep up. You're chasing a moving target, and the more you chase it, the more lost you become. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire. Perfect tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind. But tranquility is impossible if your mind is owned by other people's opinions." So, you've seen the trap. Now, how do you escape it? How do you build true confidence that doesn't crumble under others' opinions? How do you reclaim your power and live for your soul, not for applause? 1. Awareness is the first freedom. Before you can change anything, you need to see it clearly. Observe your patterns without judgment. Notice when you post something just for likes. Notice when you hesitate to speak your truth out of fear of judgment. Notice when you feel empty after scrolling through other people's highlight reels. Bring your validation-seeking patterns into the light. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You are not weak for craving validation, you are human. But by becoming aware, you step out of autopilot and regain choice. 2. Create inner validation systems. If you don't build an internal system for self-worth, you will forever depend on external systems. Ask yourself, what are your values? What does success look like to you, not society? Who do you want to become regardless of who approves? Write these down, revisit them daily. Set standards for yourself that are independent of likes, comments, or approval. For example, I will post my artwork because it aligns with my values regardless of how many likes it gets. I will speak my truth in conversations even if it is unpopular. I will celebrate my progress even if no one notices. This is living from your soul, not for validation. 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. Fear of rejection often controls your actions. To reclaim your power, practice voluntary discomfort, intentionally doing things that might invite judgment or rejection to train your mind to detach from the fear of opinions. Examples: post something true to your soul even if it's imperfect. Share your opinion in a meeting even if your voice shakes. Say no when you want to say no without explaining yourself excessively. Each time you do this, you strengthen your self-trust. As Stoics teach, the obstacle is the way. Discomfort becomes your teacher, revealing your hidden chains so you can break them. 4. Reduce social media dependency. Social media is a validation machine. You can't build true confidence while constantly feeding on likes and comparisons. This doesn't mean you must disappear, but you need to redefine your relationship with these platforms. Practical steps: disable notifications. Remove apps from your home screen. Set strict usage windows, example 30 minutes in the evening only. Take weekly dopamine detox days without social media. During these breaks, journal your feelings. Notice the anxiety, the FOMO, the itch to check who liked your post. Sit with it. Let it pass. You will discover a new freedom as your nervous system recalibrates. 5. Build identity around process, not praise. Validation seekers attach their identity to outcomes and external praise. To break free, you need to build identity around the process. A writer writes, regardless of applause. A runner runs, even if no one watches. An artist creates, even if no one validates. Shift your self-worth from, what do people think of what I did, to, did I show up fully for what matters to me? This process-based identity is unshakable. You become confident, not because people approve, but because you trust yourself to act according to your values. 6. Learn to sit with disapproval. You will be judged. People will misunderstand you. You will face criticism. This is inevitable. What matters is learning to sit with it without letting it destroy your peace. When disapproval comes, remind yourself, their opinion is theirs, not my truth. Criticism can contain useful information, but it is not a verdict on your worth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. Observe the criticism, extract any lessons if needed, and let the rest pass. 7. Build quiet confidence through integrity. Confidence isn't loud. True confidence is quiet. It comes from living in alignment with your values even when no one is watching. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from acting courageously despite fear. When you live with integrity, you no longer need validation to feel worthy. You know who you are. You trust yourself, and that trust radiates as calm, quiet power. 8. Connect with your soul desires. Validation seeking often drowns out your soul's whispers. You get so busy pleasing others that you forget what you truly want. Spend time in solitude, journal, meditate, walk in nature. Ask yourself, what would I do if I did not care what others think? What does my soul crave? What would a life true to me look like? Allow yourself to reconnect with your desires. Then start taking small actions toward them. 9. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. Environment shapes behavior. If you are surrounded by people obsessed with validation, you will find it harder to break free. Seek people who value authenticity over approval, growth over popularity, truth over comfort. People who will support you in living your truth, not encourage your addiction to validation. This doesn't mean you must abandon everyone in your life, but you can consciously curate your environment. You are not here to decorate a prison with likes and comments. You are here to live, to feel the full spectrum of your humanity, to share your gifts with the world regardless of who claps. Validation seeking will keep you small, anxious, and lost. But freedom begins the moment you choose to reclaim your power. It is not an overnight process. It is a practice of awareness, courage, integrity, and alignment with your soul. And every day you choose to live for your truth rather than for validation, you build unshakable, quiet confidence. So now ask yourself, what is one action I can take today to live from my soul, not for approval? Take that action, because your life is too precious to be lived for other people's opinions.
You've seen the trap. You've learned how to step out of it. Now comes the final step. How do you live fully, freely, and powerfully in a world that constantly demands your need for approval? How do you build a life rooted in your soul, unshaken by opinions, and filled with quiet, unshakable confidence? Today, we close this journey. 1. Embrace impermanence and redefine failure. Fear of judgment often feels permanent. We think if we fail or get rejected, it will define us forever. But everything passes. The embarrassment, the criticism, the disapproval, all of it fades away. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? 1 year? Even 1 month? Often what you fear will vanish faster than you imagine. Marcus Aurelius said, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream, for as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away." And it's not just impermanence. It's about redefining failure itself. Failure is not a verdict on your worth. It is information. It is refinement. It is growth. Success is not applause or numbers. It is living aligned with your truth, growing through the journey, and showing up fully. When you embrace impermanence and redefine failure, you remove fear's power over you and start to live with quiet courage. 2. Live in presence. Seeking validation keeps you trapped in the past and future. What will they think if I do this? Did they like what I posted? Will they approve of me tomorrow? To live beyond validation, anchor yourself in the present. Feel your breath. Notice the sensations in your body. Look at the world around you without labels. Presence is your shield against the opinions of others. When you are fully here, you stop living through the imagined eyes of others and start living through your own eyes. 3. Align actions with purpose, not applause. Ask yourself, what is truly important to me? What would I do if I no longer cared what others think? Purpose becomes your compass. When you align your actions with your purpose, external validation loses its power. If your purpose is to create meaningful art, you will create, even if no one claps. If your purpose is to serve with compassion, you will act kindly, even if no one notices. Your actions will no longer be about performance, but about authenticity. Purpose allows you to live for your soul, not for applause. 4. Learn to accept being misunderstood. Living authentically means some people will judge or misunderstand you. This is not a problem to fix. It is the price of freedom. You cannot control how others see you. You can only control how you live. Nathaniel Branden wrote, "The first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Accept that you will not be for everyone. Accept that judgment is part of the journey. When you can sit calmly while being misunderstood, you are free." 5. Build quiet confidence through small, aligned actions. Confidence is not built through praise, but through aligned action. Post what is true to your soul, even if it's imperfect. Speak your truth in small moments. Say no when you need to. Keep promises to yourself. Every small, aligned action builds quiet confidence. Not the loud confidence that seeks attention, but the quiet power that comes from integrity. This is not about becoming indifferent to others, but about living from your center. So now ask yourself, what would my life look like if I stopped living for validation? What truth would I speak if I no longer needed approval? What dreams would I pursue if I were not afraid of judgment? You are here to live, not to decorate a prison of likes and applause. You are here to breathe, to create, to grow, to love. Every moment you spend seeking validation is a moment you lose to fear. But every moment you reclaim for your soul is a step towards freedom. Call to action. Today, take one small step. Share something true without checking who likes it. Say no where you need to. Journal your values and what you truly want. Take a walk without your phone, breathing in silence. And remember, every step you take away from validation is a step towards a freer, fuller, and more powerful life. It's time to stop seeking validation and to start truly living.